Okay folks, today we're going to be building the Sandtrooper. Very first steps, as you see, is step one is the helmet and the chest plate. As you see, these parts are here, which we have here already. Basically they just get pushed together. This is the part at the back of the trooper. Typical, I always have it round the wrong way. That goes together nicely. This front part here is the mouthpiece and obviously where the trooper breathes. This goes in the front there. These parts do require a little bit of silver or decals, but I'll probably put a grey wash in there or something. That goes together like that. And then this back of the helmet and the front part should go together nicely. Again, I've got it upside down. Or have I? There you go. So that's part of the helmet there. Next part is to put the top of the helmet on and the goggles, and it should tighten it all together. Okay folks, the next step is to paint the side of the helmet. There's a couple of square parts that sit on the side. A perfect match for that is RF grey, sea grey, and it's these parts here. So these parts just need to be have a slight coat of grey on them. You can put decals on there or stickers, but I'm just going to paint these parts quickly. So this part was painted earlier. Now we can pop this inside the helmet, just like so. Need the goggles. So these sections here are the goggles. These goggle parts are moulded in a clear greeny plasticky colour. So these will get slotted in there, and then this helmet part that we previously done goes over the top. Actually, sorry, tell a lie, just before we do that I need to, don't forget to put this part in, which is part of the head trim. And then this goes on top of that. It does require the clicking sound, and they're saying once you hear that it should be in the right place. So looks pretty good to me. We have got his mouthpiece has to be done the same colour as this grey blue, and then also we still got these silver bits at the front we can paint. We got these blue parts on the front which I might do with paint, and then I'll try and wipe it away, and hopefully that leaves it in the recess. But if you don't want to do that, you have got decals and stickers to do all of this as well. Okay folks, these sections here make up the chest plate. This is the front of the chest, this is the back, because you've got the square for the backpack they go into. You've got this funny looking square piece. These are the rubber parts, these go on the bottom. This is for the waist. They're kind of keyed and there's no way of getting it wrong, and you've got a left and right ball joint for the shoulders. They go in this way. These are really tight. I did try and test fit these earlier and I could barely get them in, so I'm hoping I can get it on camera. And these see this hole in the front, this is where one of the joints go into. Because it's rubber, there's the snap, that's what you need to hear. And now we need to repeat the process on the other side. Once they're both in, we can sandwich the two halves together. So these three parts make up the neck collar and neck joint. This is quite fiddly. I was trying to mess around with this earlier to see if I could dry fit. I always like to dry fit just before filming, and I'm not having much luck. I might have to quickly do this off camera. Let's try and get this in, because it keeps moving. Oh, no, I can't get it. I'll be back in a sec. Right, what a palaver that was. This is all together now. And this is nicely done. This will slot in here according to instructions. Should hear a click. That's what we're asking for. So this is the neck movement. This would be the waist. You got your arm joints. Next part is front plate of armour. According to instructions, it should just clip in at the front. These two tabs at the front go into these holes. And then back plate with the square is where the backpack goes into. Is the same. It should sandwich it all together. Yep, that looks good to me. And then we got some shoulder straps to go over here, which are these parts here. And these are kind of keyed. Need to get this right way round. That doesn't look right to me. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do this off camera again, because they are numbered and I shouldn't have cut them off. Okay folks, we've done that section now. Next part is to put the shoulder pad over, which is the optional with the white, orange and black version. And then once that's done, the helmet should clip on top of that. And then next up after that is the waist to be built. Right, the shoulder pad I'm going to do black and orange, but first I'm going to need to paint this like a flat black. So we're just going to use XF1. Okay folks, this section here makes the lower waist or stomach area, and we have the front plate which has the detail parts on it, the part which is moulded with the ball joint which faces this way around is keyed, so that should go into there. This is the back of the trooper, that's what you're looking for, it's for the click, that's what they're asking for. So now this is ready to go on the body, which we previously built. This can go into that ball joint. Nope, sorry, I got it wrong way around. This way up, nope. That's wrong. The instructions have got this called it out wrong. That's my mistake actually. I've got that round all the way. So now this way. Now that makes the stomach of the trooper. If for whatever reason you can always pull them apart, because they're always polycapped, so it's a nice touch. Okay folks, the shoulder pad I have painted in a flat black, and now I'm going to do the orange section. You've seen me use these always in the past. I'm going to use Posca pens. I'm going to do the orange in pen. So it's a case of going over the area and filling it in. I'm going to need to give this a shake for a sec. Okay, we have the front groin and the rear groin, or the bum if you wish. We have the piece that allows the stomach to slot into. This is the ball joint fitting, so this is going to fit into here, like so. And we have these two parts that are ball joints. They say they clip together, but they actually don't. They go over this slot here. I think this is to do with part of the leg assembly, where the legs are to get attached to. And then this gets sandwiched together as half, and it should lock it all into place. Bit of a tight squeeze. And then we got orange, white plates that go over the front that make them look like they've got pants on when they haven't. So once this is all complete, we have this part that goes over the front and the rear. This cutout is for the stand to go into if you wish to have it the stand that goes into the back. If not, there is a square piece that fills this. And once that's done, this makes up this section. Of the Trooper. Okay folks, this section here is going to make up the right leg. When it comes to the left leg, I'm just going to build it anyway because you don't need to see it twice. So we have these parts here make up the I believe it's the top of the leg. So we have it facing this way round. We have this ball joint. It's asking you to fit it this way round. It's slightly smaller at the back and it is wider at the front, so it goes into there. Sorry, this way, this one first, and then you sandwich it together. It should just line up. So we will have to make another one of these, but for the other side. But obviously I won't do that because you don't need to see me make it twice. Right, this section here I believe is the knee. So we have this part here which is A3, and then we have a PC1 section which is part of the joint system, which is the rubber parts. That one goes into there. Next one goes to the bottom to make this shape, and then we have the cover on the other side of the knee, sandwiching it all together. So again we have to make another one of those for the left leg. Next step is the shin, I believe, and possibly the thigh, and then there's a top part that goes around the top of the knee. I think is part in white. No, the shin and thigh is white. These are just the movement parts. So yeah, these two parts we made previously. So anything in black is parts that are underneath the armour, and they're generally going to be moving parts. The armour is just the armour as normal. So next step is armour. So now we're making the thigh. So we have this part here which is B15, and we have the socket part which is the rubber parts which is PC5. And now calling it to go this way round and to sit in there. You don't want to glue these rubber parts in because remember these rubber parts are joints, so you want to have them free if you're going to use any glue for any reason. Most of this kit's gone together with hardly any glue. There's a couple of points I've had to use glue because it wasn't tight enough for my liking. So this is now the shin. See, these leg parts are coming together really well. I do like that. And then we got the piece that goes round, which is part of the knee, and then it's the shin and the feet. Now we make the shin, so this part and this part, again, rubber point is for the ankle and foot. They ask for the snap it requires, and then these two halves together make up the shin. Again, that's what it's asking for. Once you hear that click, you know it's gone in perfectly well. perfectly fit. And now it's attaching all three parts for the leg. So this one goes into the knee. Just make sure you got it the right way up. Also, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you see this little arrow? That's telling you it's the right way up as well. So this makes this part, this is a bit of a loose fit. No, that don't fit very well. May fit better in a minute. Upper section for the knee. And then we have the ball joint for the hip. So this makes up the leg. We still have the foot to put on, and then this can be attached to the body. But I don't like the fit issue for this part here. It's not fitting very well. I'm gonna have to check this out a little bit closer, see why it's not working. Howdy folks, these two segments here make up the belt assembly. I've already gone ahead and done the left side. Basically it's keyed, and you have this triangle part, and then you have this slot, and it just basically goes just like that. And then the belt gets wrapped around his waist, and it goes into this key slot at the side here. This sits like that, and then this piece at the bottom is what the ammo pouches sit onto. It's keyed at the back, and they just clip into there. If you're not like the fit, they can be a little bit loose, just a little bit of dab of glue into place. This one should go on nicely as well. There is a front part we need to put into. These are quite good fitting. There's a bit at the back. Okay folks, the next step is the arm. We're going to be doing the right arm, and then like I did with the leg, I won't do the left leg because the right and left leg, sorry, right arm and left arm is exactly the same, the way it goes together. So you have the shoulder pad, then we have this black piece that inserts, is for attaching it to the shoulder to the body. It does just clip into there nicely, so that can go to one side now. There is these segments here which make up the elbow joint, I think this is. So you've got this part here which is PC10, and then it goes to this part here, and it corresponds in here, and this part should just lock into place at the back. That's it. Once you hear that click, just like before, so this is the elbow joint. We also have these parts as part of the arm as well. Again, I think this is the wrist. No, it can't be. This could be the elbow. Doesn't actually say until when I get to the second part. These just go together like this. This actually could be the elbow. The other part could be the shoulder joint. This one does say it should click together. There you go. So next step is forearm. Sorry about that folks, I just made a slight mistake. I didn't push record on the button, so I've just done these forearm and bicep segments. They come as two halves, and there's a ball joint in the middle. For some reason I didn't push the button. But now as we're going to put it together, it goes this way around. This is the elbow joint. You want it this way around. Just like the knee, on the top of it, there should be a little arrow. This one doesn't say it, but this goes into the bottom, and then your shin, no sorry, not your shin, your forearm. This is the shoulder joint, and this piece goes on top of that. This makes up the arm. And we have to check this out, it's not working again. I'm probably not pushing it in far enough. Yes. Why is it not going? Right, after getting it fitted correctly, I had it completely backwards. So now this is the shoulder movement. Which will allow him to bend his arm, and obviously his arm will move outwards, and this can be attached to the body. It should go into there, so he's going to have movement outwards. Don't go too far because it will pop out. And obviously you've got his arm, and now we've got to build another one for the other side. Same process. Right, next step is to do the rifle. I have previously just done it a flat black primer paint, and the other half of the rifle is here. Comes with two halves. You get different rifles. You've got this type of rifle, which I'll be using. You've got the MG60 type. You've got the pistols. I can use them later date. For now, I just want to do these. I have pre-done the hands in the same colour. This is for the bottom, so he holds the rifle from underneath. The actual pistol grip finger one comes as two halves, so I could have painted this on the rifle, but I didn't want to. So this one's going to go this way round, and you line up the finger and the rifle, and then you sandwich the other half of the hand together. Plus, before you do that, you will need to prep the sling, which is in a brown colour, which is over here, which I've done in brown leather colour. Around the front of the rifle is another part of the sling, which is moulded in like a circle shape, which just clips on, so we'll do that in a minute. But as for this rifle, it's moulded this way, but you need to twist this part around carefully without it breaking, and this part, it goes into the back of the rifle. So this part goes in the front of the rifle, and then this loop clips into the back of the rifle, and then put the we can put the rifle together and then put the hand on, so we can sandwich this together now. Pretty damn good. You're going to get a bit of a seam line. You can clean it up, but I'm not worried about that too much. Once it's in the display cabinet, I wouldn't worry about it too much. There is a front of the rifle, which I have pre-painted as well, which is here in the black. I will give it probably a little bit of a dry brush as well. So that's the front of the blaster. And then we can put the hand back on. A little bit tricky. there's the hand and the rifle, so we can attach this to his body. Right, after wrestling with it a little bit, I had to do this off camera because I've got the camera in front of me to try and film this part, or most of it. I've had to bend his arm around and then put his hand into place and then put his rifle back in. I've got it into place, but now it's just a case of fiddling and playing around with it and just get the hands to rest on the bottom of the rifle. So it looks like he's kind of holding it. Somewhat like that, and obviously now that's done, we can attach the shoulder plate, which I have painted. I did Posca pens and I didn't like the look of it, so I've sprayed it and then I've masked it and then done that. The head can go on as well. So now he's starting to look like a trooper. So now that's all on. I have painted the blue parts. How I did that was Posca pens, let it dry a little bit, then carefully clean up with a cotton bud. But he's coming together nicely. It's a case of just bending parts into shape so he doesn't fall over. So he is freestanding. But they are good kits, they go together nicely, but they're quite, not fragile, but quite creaky, and you just got to get them into position and then basically put them on display. They're not designed to be played around with, I don't think. I might even swap the rifle out for a different one. It all depends, but that probably looks somewhat like. Okay. Next step for this is his backpack and shoulder pads, and not shoulder pads, the straps and the backpack. I'm ready for the stand. So yeah, pretty damn good. Okay folks, next step is the backpack. This is the part of the backpack and everything gets attached to. We have these two halves that go together. Everything in black I'm going to put together, and I'm going to paint it flat black. The white parts stay the same. On the bottom and the top are these little round discs. So I can do that once everything is painted in flat black. We've got this piece here which has this funny looking grill symbol on it. This sits on the back as well. This goes down the bottom here. All of my reference material, this stays white. It is grimy and dirty, so I'll probably use some pin wash, and same when it comes to doing the sand. This piece here has some detail parts on it. Sits on this part of the rifle, or part of this tube at the top. So again, I'll wait till it's all painted black, but this part can be attached to the inside of here, which I need to pull this apart again actually. So actually it goes on the back here, and then you sandwich it together. And then we have the radio box on the front, which is this piece here. This stays black. It's got a little bit of grey wash type over it. That's what I see in the reference material. There is also this piece here need this pipe. This is all black, so I can paint this black and then do the washing. And then obviously all these blue parts, I will paint this the same colour as the top of his helmet, which was, I used RF ocean grey, because I don't like this grey colour. It's too bright. I want to dull it back down a little bit. Once all the wash and sand has gone on over it, it's going to change it anyway as well. So as I say, I'm going to build everything black and then paint it. So these are all the parts for the backpack. This is how it's going to go together. This is all black, so I'm going to put it together, then we can paint it. This part goes at the bottom. There are grey segments to be attached as well, which we could do separately. We have this box, attaches to there. This one has the T shape, which has this radio equipment, goes into there, and then from here to here is the pipe. And obviously we've got the blue box that sits at the bottom. The white piece is still to be attached. This is separate, and then the strap goes over the front of his left shoulder, and then that another ammo pouch. This has all got to be painted flat black. Okay folks, this part on the back is part of the radio equipment, I believe, of the Trooper. I'm going to use Tamiya panel line grey just to accent some of this detail, and also once it's all on the figure, when it comes to weathering, I can do a little bit of dry brushing. So this drop and flow, drop, flow, drop, flow, drop. That's all I want to do. So now we carry on with painting, not painting, but putting the rest of the parts on the backpack now. So all these parts are done in the blue colour. You can leave it as plastic, but like I say, I just wanted to paint it because I didn't like the plastic look. For the blue, I used FX18, gives it that blue colour. This will go this way around. We're going to have to pull this part off. I put gloves on because I don't want to scratch it up and get dust everywhere and fingerprints. And then all of these parts, white parts, can go on there now. This can go onto the here. Anything that doesn't fit very well, I always use just a dab of glue. This looks like it's this way around, if I remember correctly. Come here. These small parts are so fiddly. Come on. I'll come back to that. Top and bottom of the backpack. Why do I keep saying rifle? There you go, there's the click. So where were we? We are back. This section that we put a little bit of wash into can go up 3 different, this way or this way. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to have mine this way round. Looks okay to me. I have this section here, which goes with this section. And this sits on the bottom of the backpack. That's that way around. We've got a piece to go in there and there. This piece here goes with this piece, I think. Nope, this piece. Get out of the way. These parts go together. This piece is going to go in between the radios. No idea what any of this is. That's that part done, and then there's a piece that goes on to here. If we had this part here, this cylinder piece goes on the bottom. Back of the rifle, I keep saying it, backpack. That looks, everything is on this backpack that I need, because there's different layouts, and this is the option I'm doing. Still got that white piece to try and fit into. Yeah, so this white piece and then I'm done. Right, now we can attach the backpack to the trooper. According to this, it goes into that slot, and then this shoulder pad just goes over the top. Turn the air pressure off because I don't need that anymore. So bend his arm round. I'm going to come back with you in a minute because I need to try and fiddle with this. So there you are, my friends. That is the trooper all put together. It's just now he's ready for all the weathering and we can do the base. But this is pretty much how it is. The fit is pretty good in some places, some parts are a bit iffy, and it just requires a little bit of glue just to hold them in place. But for the most part, it comes out pretty good. It's my first figure from Bandai. I've built some of their ships in the past and they go together really well, but this is my first figure. So yeah, next step is weathering. Right, first stage of weathering, we can do it as the trooper as is. I'm going to use a sanding stick and just scuff up some of the armour in certain places. So we've got some scuffs and stuff, and it can dull back some of the shine of the armour. So a little bit of sanding in places just to dull back the armour. One thing I don't know if you've noticed, I have taken his shoulder pad off. The orange trooper, the one that has the orange shoulder pad, it doesn't really have the shoulder pouch, so I've taken it off. As for the sand, I'm going to use Flory sand wash. So we're just going to wash the whole tyre model and then use cotton buds and stuff like that to clean him up. And then we can go in with pigments and stuff like that. So how you use Flory washes, you give it a good old shake. Make sure all the pigment and stuff is all up from the bottom of the jar. And it's a case of just dipping it in. It'll be quite messy. And then it's just a base of plastering it all over the model in places. So all over his chest, all over his pants, smother it in his legs, his shoes, pouches, all of the radio equipment can be covered. This could be quite messy, hence the gloves. When I first used this, I thought I absolutely ruined my models, but trust me, it works perfectly fine. It's good stuff. On the underside, we could do some on the rifle. His forearms, back of him, all of this. Inside here, the back. And then basically just let that dry for a minute. Okay folks, now we can take off the excess wash. The wash is not sticking very well to this plastic because the plastic is really smooth and shiny. I should have scuffed it up a bit more for it to get to stick. So as a clip for cleaning it, it's just use standard cotton swabs and just give it a good old wipe. And you see it's coming off really easy. If it sticks really well on painted sections, warm water, or even just dab it in your mouth to get the excess off. It's sticking quite well there. It's because I've scuffed it with a sanding stick, so that'd be more than fine. So we're just going to go around and clean up as much and a little as you want. It all depends how you want the look on your trooper. Bear in mind this is the one in the sand. They are the sand troopers. So let's move some of this off his arms. A bit too much for my liking. Just stuff off his helmet. A little bit too much. the thing about it being flexible and bendable, you can bend parts out of the way to get clean. You could probably do them all separate and put them back together. So this bit is a bit too much. So a little bit of water can get some of this back off. Lightly rub because I want the stains to be there. So I'm going to carry on cleaning this up and I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay folks, next step I'm just going to use a desert powder pigment. Africa desert is all I've got. So it's just on certain places I noticed painted areas this does stick, but some of the plastic it doesn't. So we'll just dust these hands up a little bit all over the rifle, around his groin. This is all painted areas, bits on the backpack. Any pigment and the wash, it will work together, it blends. Over the shoulder pad, dust up the helmet a little bit more. More backpack. More of the rifle. Again, just be aware of this stuff because it can be quite messy. So once you've been used with it, you want to clean your desk up afterwards because it get pigment everywhere. Obviously I don't want to handle it too much as well because that's just going to wear pigment off. I only want a dusty, grimy look. I think it looks pretty good to me. So what do you think folks? Does he look like he's been in the desert? I think so. I think it looks pretty good. So there you are my friends, completed model, a BANDAI SANDTROOPER. Goes together really well. I'm pleased how it's come out. So you saw me weather it, wash it and build it. This base, if you wonder where this base come from, I didn't build this base for this kit. I've built this base for generic models for whatever I want to display for in the desert. So this is what I've used. I first used this base on the McGaff 3 tank that I built a while back, and so this is ideal for the trooper. Yeah, the arms fully moved, the head, the body, it goes together really well. I'm pleased how well this has come out. I've got a stack of troopers and different Bandai figures and stuff, so I'm pretty well pleased how they've come out, so I know what to expect in the future from the others. But the ones with the lightsabers and stuff like that, I want to try and do them with LED lights and stuff, and I've got these special LEDs that flex, but I will get into that later. Obviously troopers don't have blast LEDs and stuff, so I don't need to do that, but I'm pleased how it's come out. Here's a close-up view of the trooper. Really damn good. When you freestand him on a base like this, he doesn't stand up very well, so getting different poses can be a little bit tricky. So here's a little bit of a different pose of him walking. I'll try and do some others in a second. Pretty cool.
There's one, set for stun. Let me see your identification. Let me see your identification. We don't need to see his identification. Look, sir, droids. These aren't the droids we're looking for. How long have you had these droids? All right. Do you know what's going on? Maybe it's another drill. All right, men, load your weapons. You stand guard. Give me regular reports, please. Right.